Hey guys, Andrew, Bad Andy Belgin. I'm back again with Bad Andy Fitness. I've been getting asked a lot of questions on if you should take advice from someone that's on steroids and you're not going to be on them, and how to tell if your personal trainer is on them. A lot of people I've been talking to have suspicions that the person they're dealing with is on a lot of supplements and steroids, and honestly, this is really common. This is why I started up my own personal training company. I'll work out at these gyms, when I was living in Denver, in the Denver area, be it a pro gym or a regular gym. How prevalent steroids are is kind of mind-blowing to people. Just kind of give you an idea, is I grew up in a town of 2,000. There weren't very many people that worked out, but yet I still knew 3 people that were on steroids in my itty-bitty town. And, that was almost half the people that were working out. And the same thing went on when I went to Denver. Pretty much anyone that looked good at the gym was on steroids. And, how do I know this? Because, when you work out there enough, you start talking to people, they feel comfortable with you, and they tell you. And, when I did my competition, there were basically like 3 of us in this whole competition that were on steroids. But that was going to be a given. I mean, weightlifting, bodybuilding is known for steroid use, but a lot of people don't realize most of their personal trainers are on this stuff too. And, the big deal about that is they really have no idea how to get you a body that looks like theirs without the use of steroids. If they knew how, they wouldn't be on steroids. So that's one of the biggest reasons. And there's a lot of health concerns that I'm going to go into later. But it kind of made me mad knowing all these people are on steroids and they're giving advice, charging people a lot of money, not telling them they're on steroids. So this is where a lot of people's suspicions come in. So, one of the easiest ways to tell is you pretty much got to see them in person. And one, they're going to have, abs. But when they have abs, the difference is when you're natural is, if you can kind of see, so I go chest, rib cage, and then my stomach curls in again. And the widest part on my waist is actually my hip bone. It's what sticks out the most. I don't know which angle kind of shows it the best, but my hip bone is the furthest thing. So my stomach is actually inside my hip bone. And if you're natural, that's basically the only way you're going to have abs, because you have to be super lean. So what happens when you're on steroids? Not only does it make your muscles bigger, it makes everything bigger. So your organs and everything get bigger. That's why you get steroid gut and it sticks out. So basically, if you don't have those 3 layers, you're on steroids and probably a bunch of other supplements as well. And why I say supplements as well, because protein powder, creatine, pre-workouts, all this stuff is destroying your liver. You guys need to get off them. You don't need them. Basically, you're going to have better results if you just go the natural approach. You're going to have more energy throughout your entire day, just not your workout. And there's no need for creatine and protein powders and all this other stuff, because you're going to be getting it through your diet in a lot healthier way. And your body's going to know how to use it a lot better. And, another big question I get asked, so do steroids naturally just make you bigger, or do you have to put in all the work? All the steroid users want to say, oh, but you have to do the work as well. Well, let me give you this example. Let's say you have a bull, and that bull is just sitting out in the pasture doing absolutely nothing. These bulls are huge, they're ripped, they're muscular. Why is that? They're not lifting weights, they're not running all over the field. That's because they have so much testosterone flowing through their body. It is just making muscle. It's the same with any animal. So if you were to ban that bull when it was a calf and castrate it and take off its nuts, it looks no different than a cow, like a female cow. So testosterone, yes, it's going to straight up make you bigger, leaner, stronger. That's why people take it. So don't let them fool you. Steroids make a huge difference. That's why people get on them. And one of the big problems with steroids is it kills your liver, 1. 2, I've never met anyone that has taken steroids that has been able to get off them. There is somewhat of a physical demand for it, because once you get on steroids, you're going to no longer produce your own testosterone. But the biggest thing is mentally. Because 1, they didn't think they were big enough without them. So they start taking steroids. They get bigger. Well, the problem is if you ever get off them, you're going to be even smaller than when you first started, because that testosterone production is not going to be there. So you're going to lose not only the muscle you used to get the steroids, but you're going to lose what you had previously. You're going to have a lower floor basically for your muscle, and it drives people nuts and they get right back on steroids. That's why I've never met anyone to get off them. So the best thing, just never take them to start with. And yeah, you can get big. It takes time. You know, a lot of people, they want to give credit to genetics and all that stuff. You have to realize, I've been working out 18 years, and it's going to be 19 years coming up here very soon. That's 19 years of hard work I put into it. This body just didn't happen overnight. The great news is my body isn't going anywhere overnight as well. If I were to go on a month-long vacation and not lift a single weight, I'd look exactly the same. Easy come, easy go. So steroids, it easily comes, but it easily goes. You put in the hard work, that body's not going anywhere. It would take years of abuse to start to deteriorate your body. So your hard work is going to pay off. So don't get discouraged about that. So let's go into some of the reasons why you can't be taking advice from people that are heavily on supplements or steroids. The obvious that I said earlier, they have no idea how to achieve, a figure like this without the use of them. And, testosterone is the king. So if you're taking testosterone from an outside source, you don't have to worry about your body producing it. So diet isn't important, overtraining isn't important, sleep isn't that important. There are so many things, stress reduction isn't important. So many key elements that go into making testosterone, you just throw out the window, and they have no idea about these. So you guys really need to check who you're getting advice from and shelling out, thousands of dollars a month. In Denver, the going rate was about $1,500 a month for a personal trainer. It's a lot of money. Make sure they know what they're doing. If they don't, they can make you even sicker in worse shape than you were before when you started. So definitely make sure you're getting your information from a good source. It's not easy. I've met many personal trainers in my life, and any of them that look good, they were all on juice. That's not saying they all are, but it's definitely something you need to watch out for. And start asking them a bunch of questions. How often they're training. If they're training a ton a week, that's overtraining for anyone that's on steroids. If it's more than 4 to 5 hours a week, it's just too much. If they're doing a little bit over that, that's fine. But if they're doing 4 hours a day, yeah, that's an obvious sign of steroids. Like I showed you from the side, if you can see them in person, steroid gut is really hard to hide. The first time I worked out at Armbrust, the pro gym in Denver, it was crazy how the eyes just went to me, because I had the size of a pro, but my waist was itty bitty. I got approached by 3 guys the first time I worked out there, and they pretty much told me I was perma-shredded, which was a great compliment, but they told me they watched me the entire hour and a half, and they were just waiting for my belly to pop out, because that is all they've ever seen at that gym. So it's really easy to see someone that's natural. It doesn't matter the lighting for me. I don't need photos. I look good in any lighting, any angle. I'm just, permanently cut. It's because I have itty bitty waist and big muscles. You just can't hide them. So if you can meet your trainer in person, it's a great way to see. And, they should be looking good all the time. I'm almost on 4 years of being 4% body fat. When you do it the right way, it's easy to maintain. It does not take a lot of work. Steroid users, they call them steroid cycles for a reason, because there's different steroids that do certain things, and they look good right before a show. So that's when they're cycling for the cutting steroids and all that. So if they're not looking good all the time, that's a pretty good sign of steroid use as well. I hope this kind of helped you guys, when you're trying to find someone to help train you, and make sure they're doing it the right way. You have to make sure they know what they're doing, and make sure they're doing it in a way that you want it to be. Like if they're on steroids, you're basically going to have to take steroids the same way they are to get the same results. So make sure they're doing it in a way you want, have the body you want. And I'm sure there's going to be more questions, so leave them in the comments below and I'll get to them as always. But that's going to do it for this episode. Give it a like, give it a share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Bad Andy Fitness.